Hello, Void. Rizzo back again, and just decided to pull up something a bit more just because I wanted to see it. And this is one movie I hadn't seen, and it's been on my short list for a while. And as I had saved it to my Shudder list over the course of April, I'm going to be whittling through that a little bit, mixing in my own collection that I've been trying to get through with a few streaming things just to keep things going. And, well, I took a look at Bloodsucking Freaks, also known as the Incredible Torture Show. Well, this was a thing. Well, I will just say I'm kind of glad I don't do a clip show because I probably would only be able to show maybe 5% of any of this film because of just how much nudity there is in this movie. A lot of naked ladies. Wow. Okay, so this one's put out by Troma and originated in 1976, though Lloyd Kaufman has later gone on to say that, one, he's pretty sure he secured his place in hell from even watching this film, let alone distributing it, and that he then more recently he said that it's not a movie he probably would greenlight or distribute in this day and age just because of how fucked up this film is. And yeah, this I cannot see this movie getting made in this day and age at all. Okay, this has got to be one of the more misogynistic movies I have seen. But it was very hypnotic. I was not bored during this film. Okay, so Sardu runs the Theater of the Macabre, and he essentially puts on performances to the delight of his audience where he performs grisly acts on his actresses. Little does his audience realize he is actually torturing people to death on stage for their amusement. They just think they're very good actors. After being heckled quite badly by a critic, he decides to get revenge not only on the critic, but to take his form into his thing into a bit of a higher art by kidnapping a renowned ballerina and encouraging her to perform for him. Meanwhile, the ballerina's quarterback boyfriend obviously notices she's missing and hires one of the most skeevy detectives out there to try to track down what happened. As Sardu is in the process of essentially torturing people into being hypnotically obedient to him. And in the meantime, he also is running a white slavery business and out of his basement where he ships people he's trained worldwide. This film is grotesque in every way possible to describe. It is. The bloodiness is actually surprisingly minimum, but that said, the nature of the violence itself is very disturbing, as well as the general situations of just what he's doing to these women, while him and his dwarf sidekick just laugh or play backgammon. I don't even know how I'm going to classify this one because one of the like I Spit on Your Grave. It's one of those movies you feel kind of dirty giving a high rating to. But this movie is going out of its way to be as possibly offensive as it can be, so it is succeeding in its goal. And it's not a poorly made film by any stretch. I mean, it is put out by Troma, so it definitely has some tongue-in-cheek horror comedy elements to it. It's not as amusing or comedic as many other Troma films, but there are parts where it does have a very dark charm about it. So I don't know even where to go with this one. Blood Sucking Freaks is an experience. One that I don't think most people would be able to stomach, quite frankly. But if you are a seeker of the extreme, it's definitely a movie that will have some draw. I just wondering what you're going to see next is kind of the draw of this film, and I will say I was not disappointed in that. Okay, so on the 10 MacGuffin scale, I will say this movie does still rank above average, even though content-wise it is repugnant. Yeah, I will say I don't condone, endorse, or appreciate a lot of the stuff that was on display here. As before, this movie does not shy away from being misogynistic, but at the same time, it isn't exactly glorifying that. It's clearly the villains are the ones perpetrating it, but at the same time, they are almost our protagonists, so it's a very weirdly framed movie. I mean, the hero is definitely the quarterback trying to find his lost girlfriend, and just the entire world around him is just terrible. Like, the cop he has getting him is pretty much just going to write her off, but he has to pretty much bribe the cop to even keep the investigation going. And even then, all the cop's going to try to do is profit over Sardu, rather than actually doing anything to help the quarterback. And Sardu and his assistant, what was his name? Ralphus, are, I wouldn't exactly say they're likable characters, but they are hypnotic to watch. They have this weird, almost bromance as they're going about this thing, which is strange, but compelling. Yeah. So I'll say about 6 MacGuffins. It's shocking, grotesque, dirty, and disturbing, but it definitely doesn't elevate itself to anything beyond utter shock. So yeah, I'll give this one a 6 MacGuffins. It is it's pretty much reign king in the exploitation circuit, and I can see why. So I'll give it a 6 MacGuffins, though with the disclaimer that this movie is. It's not that this movie is not for everyone. This movie really should be for no one, but here it is. I am still kind of glad I saw it, and it's one that will stick with me. I don't regret seeing it, but not one I would watch often. All right, I think that's all on this.